country that way.
Right.
Yeah. Tom's Road.
Yeah.
I had a day at work and my brain is already like,
Who are you?
that's right. I
After
don't
5
know
o'clock.
All righty, ladies and gentlemen, looks like we've got quorum, so we'll call the Nome Common Council special meeting for Monday, February 3rd, 2026 to order at 7:03 p.m. Clerk, may call the roll, please.
Councilmember Johnson.
Here.
Councilmember Martinson.
Excused.
Thank you. Councilmember Henderson. Here. Councilmember Miller.
Here.
Councilmember Green.
Here.
Councilmember Lusk.
Here, you have a quorum?
Awesome. Next item on the agenda is approval thereof. Chair will entertain a motion to adopt.
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion by Council Member Johnson, seconded by Council Member Henderson on approval of agenda. Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Councilmember Henderson.
Yes.
Councilmember Miller.
Yes.
Councilmember Green.
Yes.
Councilmember Lusk.
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson.
Yes.
Awesome. Motion carries. Next item on the agenda will be citizens' comments. Before we get into citizens' comments, let me note that we will be having a public hearing on the item A. So if you want to wait till then, that's fine. Outside of that, comments from citizens on any other issue would be now's the time. Going once, going twice. Okay. Next item will be unfinished business. Item A. You want to read it by title?
Ordinance 26-02-01, an ordinance amending Nome Code of Ordinances, NCO 31090, to eliminate the cap on the number of available taxicab licenses and amending NCO 31095 regarding taxicab license applications to reflect changes to the licensing structure and amending NCO 310-100. Amended.
Okay. Do we need a motion to throw this on the floor and in public hearing? All right.
Make a motion. Second.
Motion by Councilmember Johnson, seconded by Councilmember Henderson to advance to second reading the ordinance. We will now accept public testimony on this ordinance as a public hearing commences at 7:06 p.m.
Yeah, Steve Longman, Nome. Yeah, I still think you guys should, you're spending a lot of time on this taxi business. I mean, how many meetings have you guys? It's been a year now. And you're a little bit further ahead than you were a year ago, but then you're also behind because there's no taxis out there at all, except for those of us doing donations, including Checker Cab. They're doing donations, they say, which take that for what it's worth. Yeah, just glancing at this, it's all pretty much the same stuff you had before, which is kind of fine, I guess. There's other things you guys need to fix as far as there's a separate thing of policies that's not in the ordinance. Talking with Mr. Grimmer briefly, there's a separate policy document as far as with the chauffeur's license and taxi licenses and stuff. Like where it says if you get a chauffeur's license, you have to have a business license and a sales tax license if you're not covered by an existing business that has those, that pays your taxes for you. And there's I don't know what all the other ones. I just asked for a copy of it today, but I haven't got a copy of it yet. Though I'm wondering who approves that other policy. Do you guys do that? Do you guys know about it? So you guys approved it, the policies and procedures? I would assume somebody has to approve it.
My guess is that generally speaking, the council authorizes the function, and as far as the specific policies and procedures, they are as necessary to carry out the council's intention
Right.
without any overlap. And there's always the opportunity to, if you have a disagreement with a policy, to bring it to the council for an appeal, part of an appeal process. If an appeal with the city manager at first doesn't resolve it to your satisfaction.
Well, I don't know if I agree with that, because I haven't seen a copy of it, just a couple items that were on there. I don't know how lengthy it is. You know, but as far as, like I mentioned before, you know, you guys should be doing drug tests on chauffeurs. I think it's very, very important, because I, for a fact, know about half the chauffeurs in town that I see driving on a daily basis will not pass the drug test. And I know for a fact there's at least one of the drivers in the last.
That's probably
Okay.
not really an appropriate topic for public comment, Steve.
Okay. I agree, but
Thank you.
you know, that should be, you know, you guys have to follow the CFR 49 CFR. But you guys have a medical certificate that's in the chauffeur's license application. That's not a CFR medical certification. That's a city certification. The CFR 49 is a card about that tall and about that long, and you're required to carry it whenever you're driving. It's a completely different animal. And I think that's why the hospital used your guys' ordinance and made a separate chauffeur's license physical. And then they have the CF 49 physical for the CDL guys. I've done both in the past, and they're completely different physicals. So if you guys are going to have your own medical certificate, you know, you need to do some work on that as far as the drug testing part, because it says in your ordinances that you submit to a drug testing. The CFR 49 says you have to be drug and free. It doesn't say you have to provide a drug test. So there's two different things. Then another question I have is, has anybody, your lawyer, anybody ever compared your ordinances as far as taxes compared with state law and federal law? Or is there a state law? I know all the cities have them, but does the state actually have a law regarding taxi cabs? Because if they do, you guys have to follow that. I think it's part of your ordinances that you follow state law. I'm sure there's a little bourbon there. I remember seeing that you guys follow all applicable state laws. So if, you know, because right now, for instance, we're basically running as a bus where you can put 10 people go in there going 10 different directions. A normal taxi cab, you can't do that. It's just you have one group going one direction. You're done with that, you pick up your next fare. You don't have, you know, 10 people going 10 directions. Which is why in the ordinance it says that you may have to have a taxi permit and a bus permit if your vehicle holds more than 7. But you know, when back in the day when I had a bus permit, that's how I started. I ended up getting a taxi permit, and they made me give the bus permit back. But you know, that your own ordinance says you have to have both if you're more than 7 passengers, which most of mine were back then. They were 7 to 15 passenger. So you know, I would recommend. You know, what does state law say? Are you guys in compliance with state law? You know, if there is a state law. I tried searching for state law, and all I can find is about 4 different cities in Alaska that had ordinances. Another thing you guys were talking about the last meeting is who appoints the shop. Now I see you guys are changing that to the city manager rather than the chief of police, which is fine, but I'll let the city manager know that there's actually 4 shops in town right now. You guys are using TSR in Farley. TSR won't do a medical or won't do a inspection unless you're one of their regular clients, or if they see that vehicle, you know, every month or whatever, they're a client and they'll do an inspection on it. If you're coming off the street and say, I just want an inspection done, they won't do it. I've asked them 2 or 3 times in the last year. I've asked Farley to do an inspection on my vehicle that I have now. He wouldn't do it either. There's also Q Trucking. They used to have the contract for the city fleet, for the diesel fleet that the city had. They're qualified to do an inspection. You also have Bering Strait Development Company, which do all the maintenance. They have like 100 rentals. And you know that they should be qualified to do an inspection. And I talked with your manager about this. You also have your city shop. You know, there might be some liability there if they're doing it, but you know, they do all the inspection on all your police cars and all the maintenance on all your police cars. So to me, that would be the obvious place. And instead of once a year inspection, you guys need to be doing like a monthly inspection. Just, you know, especially if it's your own shop, pull in there once a month, have a quick once over, half hour, and then, okay, good to go. Doesn't have to really be anything in writing, just to check it, get done once a month. That way your own mechanic can say, oh, nope, take that car off the road. You know, like no seat belts, or I've seen vehicles with no covering on the seat where you can see the springs and stuff inside the seat. And the seat cover, the car jacket, you know, stuff like that, where if you guys brought it in once a month to your own shop, they can say, nope, get that off the road and fix that. One, like I mentioned before, an inspection once a year doesn't do nothing. That's basically useless. You know, our roads and the amount of a taxi gets 50 to 80,000 miles a year on it. You do maintenance every 5,000 miles. So like with my vehicles, I inspect them almost on a daily basis. And then I do more stringent maintenance on like on a Sunday when it's slow. I'll pull them off the road one at a time and you know, go through them. I usually do all that myself because I'm actually a mechanic and I've actually worked as a mechanic before. So I'm not a licensed shop, but I pretty much know what I'm doing. Other than that, like I said a million times before, I think you should just get rid of all the taxi ordinances and be done with it. You guys have wasted, I don't know how much you guys wasted in the last year going over this and round and round and round and round, but you know, there wouldn't be any liability on your part. Right now, there is. You know, just because you have a permit, if a taxi runs over somebody, kills somebody, and they don't have the insurance or whatever, who are they going to go after? City of Nome, because the city said they could drive that taxi. If the city doesn't have permits, they're not liable. So anyway, thank you.
Is there anyone else who would like to provide testimony on the potential ordinance? All right, seeing none, we will come out of public hearing at 7:17 p.m. Resume with final discussion. I did have one question.
Excuse me.
And that is about the number that's supposed to be on the back of the cab. Does that come from the cab company going to the city, or is that from the city going to the cab company? All right, that isn't really clear. In fact, it says that it's a number submitted by the taxi cab operation, the way it's written there. So if it's supposed to be from the city to the cab, then it needs a slight adjustment in that bit of language.
And the way that I've seen it done in the past, from looking at the other cabs, is just they have more than one permit. And that's the number of that cab. That number 1, number 2, number 3.
Yeah, I don't necessarily know which way that's. You just indicated it's supposed to go from the city to the cab company as opposed to.
Well, it was the cab company to the city. They numbered their own if they had more than one permit. But
Is that the number to which you refer? The 4-inch number on the back?
That's one. Or is it the actual permit number, I guess?
Kenny, your concern is it doesn't specify which.
Right,
Yes.
exactly. So
I see what he's saying.
it's just some confusion in the language, and I couldn't
Can you
resolve it
clarify that?
short of in the category of
Like maybe,
like I was wondering, it was supposed to be part of the application that got submitted, but in the application language, all there was something other than whatever.
and if you're
the city clerk-
approved, then the city issues a number.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought you
Easier
figure
for
it should
internal
specify
tracking.
I see what
which
you're
direction that's going, exactly.
Seems like a kind of a small administrative change, whatever
I
that
think we
is.
can,
Yeah.
internal, yeah. You got the spirit of it. Now I need to
Right,
delineate exactly what it, yeah. Okay.
right. So with that clarification,
That's, yeah, thank you for that.
that's been the only thing that I saw in the ordinance that was.
Spells it out in the ordinance. That's saying, basically what Corin said was taxi cab service to transport people shall display prominently on the rear of the vehicle a 4-inch or larger vehicle identification number matching the number submitted to the city for purposes of licensing. So that should be
Right,
part of their
but
license.
that wasn't included in the app, and if you look at the description of the application and what's necessary for the application, that number isn't listed specifically. It is kind of covered in the whatever else the city clerk may require, part of it.
No, it should be specific if it's in the ordinance. That's what you're trying to say.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's in the ordinance already, so they just need to adjust their application.
The form or
Yeah,
application.
administratively adjust their.
so the way it's written in the ordinance, it goes from the company to the city clerk as far as the number goes.
Like cab
So
one, cab
how do
two.
we keep from 2 cabs having the same number then?
Well, so typically what has done in the past is what was submitted was the business ID. And so every single business in the city of Nome has a unique ID associated with it. And they would issue, let's say that Kenny's is 50681. Well, and so if Kenny has more than one taxi cab, then it's 50681 or whatever, -1, -2, -3. And so that's how they were numbered in the past. But the business ID number is unique to the business.
Well, sure, and they got that number based on not what they submitted to the city, but what the city told them their number was.
Allegedly, from what you're saying, I can tell you in the past, that's what they submitted to the city, is their business license number.
Okay.
And so that's how the license, on the license itself, that's what's listed, is the license, the business license ID number. And that's what's been being done for years.
So our office does, if I can speak, sorry. Our office does generate the business number, the unique number to the businesses. So like, let's say there's a person, let's say this guy behind me wants to start up a cab company. He'll come in, drop off all the paperwork, and then once they create their sales tax account, then it comes to me for approval. I'll approve it and assign a number to the, I'll assign a unique number to the account. And then once they're approved, I send that back to the tax person, sales tax person, taxpayer, and then they have their unique number.
I see what you're saying. I understand. And that's just a slight amendment to the ordinance to change a couple words.
Administrative change.
As administrative, basically, instead of saying that ID number matching the number submitted to the city for purposes of licensing, it should say ID number matching the number provided by the city for purposes of licensing.
That would make a lot more sense.
Yeah. Question is, does it require an amendment for that administrative thing?
It certainly doesn't change the spirit.
No, it doesn't.
Okay, so administrative.
Okay,
You can add that piece. I mean, It's like we're saying the spirit is the same. You're adding that, but I think as Scott said, it's just really administrative. Put it in there and move it forward if that's your choice.
Okay, any further discussion on the ordinance?
Couple of comments regarding our public hearing that we had. The policy that's in this, I don't believe is a new policy. I think it's been around for decades, and the city office is just following previous policies that were created way long time ago regarding chauffeurs licenses and things. It's just that the city let it kind of lapse for a while years back, and it's kind of bringing it back forward. I think correct me if I'm wrong, but aren't the existing policies that were around for chauffeurs licenses? Yeah, for a long time.
Yeah.
As far as ordinance license complying with state laws, that's why we have attorneys to assist with drawing up these ordinances, and they look to see that they comply with state laws, as far as I know. And then as far as shops, it seemed to me like a proactive, easy way to provide the most access to cab drivers who want to get in the cab business is to allow any license by the state and by the city shops that are, the city doesn't offer business license. They do offer sales tax licenses. But in order to have that, you have to have a business license. So it seems like any shop that's in town that is licensed as a shop should have the ability to
Yes.
do the inspection instead of having to pin down to one particular shop. We should make it more available. That's all my comments, Mr. Mayor.
All right, thank you. Does anyone else have any further comments on the ordinance?
I'll just say that, right, when we're talking about vehicle inspections, I think about what it takes to get a Uber, even Ubers are regulated at the state level, right? And oftentimes if you want to work for them, you're also submitting a vehicle inspection form and you're just uploading a document to them saying somebody's looked at your vehicle. So I don't believe that, whoever is doing these inspections locally, I don't think that there's any liability to the city at the end of the day, right? Our job in this ordinance is we're making sure that vehicles are being inspected. It's ultimately on the owner who's running their business to make sure that they're running a safe, sound operation.
All right, thank you. Anyone else? All right,
So in what fashion are we going to designate shops from the city manager? Is it just case to case, or?
That they would use a shop, that's their choice.
But it says approved by city manager.
Yeah, if they were to come in, what I will do is call the shops and say, okay, can you do them? And if that's the case, I can send it out and say, here are the 3 that are eligible to do it by the state, I can do that in a couple of days. That's easy.
So it'll be like just a running list. Okay.
We'll take care of it.
anyone else? All right, clerk may call the roll on the question.
Councilmember Green,
Yes.
Councilmember Lust,
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson,
Yes.
Councilmember Henderson,
Yes.
Councilmember Miller.
Yes.
All right, the motion carries. The ordinance is adopted.
We need a motion to adjourn, or you're gonna call it?
I'm waiting for a motion.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn by Councilmember Lust, seconded by Councilmember Henderson. All those in favor say aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We're adjourned. Thank you all.